Hi, I'm Erik Linask here at Cloud Expo in New York City. I'm talking now with Vishal Sharma from NaviSite. Vishal, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, you're the Senior Director of Cloud Computing at NaviSite. So what are you seeing? So let's start a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what you're seeing generally in terms of cloud, the adoption of cloud, and who's interested.
There's definitely a lot of interest around cloud, but we typically see people like enterprises, large enterprises are still learning, researching about cloud. There are few enterprises who has already adopted some of the cloud solutions, especially around software as a service. But there is a lot of interest to learn more about it. So whenever we go and talk to some of our customers, they ask us, like, what can we do in the cloud? So there is a lot of like learning going around the cloud right now, but we do see a lot of interest especially from the C-level executives, like CIOs, CTOs. They hear so much about cloud, and they go and talk to their IT department and say, okay, why can't we do this in cloud?
So CIOs and CTOs often have very different objectives,
right.
Within their organizations. How do what they're looking to accomplish in the cloud differ?
Yeah, when you talk to CFOs, right, so their main advantage is the cost aspect of it, right? So, and cloud definitely provides that whole cost, look into the total cost of ownership of IT infrastructure, both from a CapEx perspective as well as from operations cost perspective. That makes it very relevant to the CFOs. When you go to the CIOs and the IT folks, it's more around the agility cloud provides, the simplification of their IT operations, right? The flexibility around what kind of resources they need. That rhymes well. Obviously, these days CIOs also have budget, so the cost aspect as well. It's kind of interesting to them too.
So when you approach, or when you're approached by
right.
some of these enterprise customers, what are their sort of biggest deficiencies in terms of education about the cloud?
The biggest deficiency I see is like when we talk to them, we tell them, oh, this is what we do. They said, okay, how can we go to cloud? I see they don't have that strategic roadmap for cloud adoption. They have seen cloud, and that's what we keep saying them. Don't think cloud as like one-off project. Think it as a kind of evolution of your IT infrastructure environment. And it's this cloud is not independent by itself, right? So try to accommodate cloud and see how your complex IT infrastructure and the IT operations could be simplified using the benefits of the cloud. Like we start with saying, okay, let's work together and develop a strategic roadmap, cloud roadmap, where we can look backwards, look into your existing application, existing resources, and how you can move that to cloud, as well as looking forward, saying, okay, what are the business application you want to enroll, and how those business application roadmap rhymes and aligns with your cloud roadmap. I think those are the two key important aspects we start with our customers, especially the enterprise customers.
So what are the next steps then for those enterprises after you've gone through this sort of educational and consulting type process?
Right. So we work with them and do kind of portfolio assessment of their IT infrastructure, right? So we look into their application workloads and then identify like what is well suited for the cloud. So whether it's well suited for a public cloud or third-party cloud providers like us, or it's well served by their internal private cloud, or even not even touch them at all and keep it in their traditional data centers. There could be legacy applications which were developed like 40, 50 years back, running perfectly fine. You don't need to touch them, right? They're working, right? So there are specific workloads which may not benefit from cloud, or which will, at least today, they will not benefit from cloud. So we identify the whole workload and eventually come up with a plan saying, okay, these are the things we need to move to the cloud and these should not. So that's the next step after that. And then we start looking into things like security aspect of it and the integration aspect of it, because like the way we see it's a hybrid environment, right? So once we identify, we do that portfolio assessment, that there's like things which bucketed into traditional environment, bucketed into private, bucketed into public. And another key challenge there is how do we want to integrate them all? Because from an enterprise IT service management perspective, they would like to have one service management level for all of these. They don't want to have different service management for different groups, right? And so the integration becomes very important at that time. How do you want to integrate all these different clouds or different IT environments to create a simplified IT, like again, those sub-environments into simplified IT environment?
So, you talked about public and private clouds. What's the difference in terms of enterprise adoption and in terms of enterprise application?
From adoption to public and
Public
private.
versus private.
Yeah, there are two key things around the whole adoption from a enterprise customer perspective. The two biggest lever are one is like virtualization, the other is outsourcing, right? So how much of virtualization like how use the enterprise have been using, right? So we have some customers who have been using virtualization for a couple of years now, and they understand the value, understand the benefit. And then there's some customers who have been outsourcing their IT activities for a long time. So these are the customers who you don't have to sell cloud to them. They know what cloud is, and they're all ready to go dive into like public cloud environment. Versus you have all these other customers who are either like not at all virtualization, like use of virtualization or outsourcing, and in between some of them they have using virtualization. So depending on where they fit in, like if they have been using virtualization for a long time, but they're very reluctant for outsourcing for various reasons, private cloud is a good like a good solution for them, right? There are some customers who haven't used virtualization, who haven't used outsourcing. To them, it's even before we sell our offering, we sell cloud to them first, saying that what is cloud? These are the benefits, right? So I think it's a very long process. So again, you have to look into like the whole maturity curve of the customer and identify like where they fit in, and then you do the talking depending on that.
Makes an awful lot of sense.
Right.
Been talking here at Cloud Expo with NaviSite's Vishal Sharma. Vishal, thanks for joining me.
Thanks a lot.